the applause, applause, applause. I'm there for the applause, applause, there for the applause, applause, there for the way that you cheer and scream for me. The applause, applause, applause. Give me the feeling of love. Put your hands up, make 'em turn.
This is not the MTV Video Music Awards. There will be no twerking or bikinis this morning. I hate to disappoint. So welcome, 15th CJU conference. Can you believe it? 15. Woo! And what's so fantastic is we still have so many new participants in attendance. So I want to welcome all of our newbies and, of course, all of our veterans who have come year after year. I know we have some 10 years plus in the audience this morning, so I want to also thank you for all of your love and support. I thought I would just take the next 30 minutes or so and talk to you about some of the investments that we're making here at Commission Junction on behalf of all of you. But before I do, we need to talk a little tennis. So when I'm not working or traveling for work, I like to decompress and relax with a little game of tennis. And as much as I tell myself each and every time I hit the court, I'm just gonna go out there and have fun. You know, get a little sun, get a little exercise. Of course, as soon as the first point is played, the competitive spirit kicks in, and you think I was playing for $1 million in prize money and had numerous sponsors. So it's probably a little bit more intense than it is fun, but I do really, really enjoy the game. And to that end, I'm also very much an avid fan. How many of you are familiar with Andy Murray, professional tennis player? So, quite a few of you. For those that are not, he is currently the #3 ranked tennis player in the world. He's originally from Scotland, Great Britain, about 26 years old. And why I'm so intrigued with Andy is that he has taken his game to a whole nother level over the last couple years. So I'm always curious in terms of how did he do it? And like most professional athletes, it didn't happen overnight. It didn't even happen over the last couple years. It really started from the very beginning in all the investments that he made throughout the course of his career. And it's thanks to these investments that by the age of 20, he had already entered the top 10 in the world. And I'm not sure how many of you are aware, but tennis is very much like race car driving. Even though there's only one man or one woman out on the court or the racetrack, there is an entire team behind them. And Andy was actually fairly infamous for having a very extensive team. So we're talking about coaches, hitting partners, fitness trainers, dietitians, physiotherapists. You know, you need that ice bath and massage after every single match. And of course, publicists and sponsorships, and not to mention friends and family. And it's thanks to this team that it took him to #2 by the age of 22. But as he approached his mid-20s, one thing was missing. He had yet to win a Grand Slam final tournament. And in tennis, there are 4 of them. We have the US Open, French Open, Wimbledon, and Australian Open. And not only had he failed to win one of these, he was only one of 2 men in the entire history of men's tennis to have lost his first 4 Grand Slam final matches, to the point where he was nicknamed Grand Slam Nearly Man. So he's thinking, this cannot be my legacy. After so many years of tennis, I do not want to end my career with no Grand Slam final win. So he took a big step back at the end of 2011, took a really critical look at his game, his team, himself, and decided he needed a new strategy. He needed to make some new investments. And one of the biggest investments that he made was hiring a new coach. And it was actually a very contentious selection because he hired the other man that had lost his first 4 Grand Slam finals. And that was Ivan Lendl. Big professional tennis player back in the 80s from the Czech Republic, like a machine on the court. So although they were very different personality-wise, talk about that instant connection. Talk about that empathy in terms of really understanding pressure and expectations. So again, all these changes were made at the end of 2011. So as Andy entered the 2012 season, he again had a rough start where once again, he was in the finals. Once again, he was at Wimbledon and unfortunately lost. But in August of 2012, he once again found himself in the finals of the US Open. And this time he faced Novak Djokovic. He won the first 2 sets, lost the second 2 sets, took a bathroom break, looked himself in the mirror and said, I am not losing this one again. And he did not. He went on to win the 5th set after 4 hours and 45 minutes of playtime, one of the longest matches in tennis history. But all great, right? His legacy had changed. He was no longer to be Grand Slam nearly man. But as a British citizen, he had yet to bring home the cup, which was Wimbledon. No British man had won Wimbledon in 77 years, not since 1936 and Fred Perry. So once again, July of 2013 rolled around in Wimbledon, and once again, he found himself in the finals, facing Novak Djokovic. But this time, he didn't need 5 sets. He did it in 3 and brought home the cup for Great Britain. Victory. So I would say the investment in Ivan Lendl and that relationship paid off. So it was a great investment. And I share this story with you because Commission Junction 2 is committed to investing in relationships. We recognize that the competitive landscape has changed, that there are new players with new and different value props, but we believe affiliate marketing is more than just tracking, reporting, and payment. You're all here today and yesterday and tomorrow for relationships. That is the most important, most critical success factor in this business. So I want to share with you today 3 major areas where we're investing in relationships here at Commission Junction. And I like to call them the 3 I's. So the first I that I want to talk with you today is the one of innovation. And when we talk about investing in relationships, we're not just talking about our advertisers and publishers, our agencies, but we're also talking about consumer relationships, because all marketers are trying to establish a better relationship with their consumers. And how can affiliate help? I think we all recognize that affiliate marketing is actually one of the last non-programmatic channels in online marketing. What do I mean? Well, ad selection, ad targeting, and ad optimization is the sole responsibility of the publisher and the publisher alone. But the challenge is that they don't often have insight and access to the consumer data to make sure they can message the right person at the right time with the right creative. So what happens is when any one of us in this room goes to one of our publisher sites, we do an advertiser lookup, whether it's Kerri Pollard or Brian Contrat or Heather Pilot, we all see the same thing. We know one size doesn't fit all, but in today's world, based on the capabilities, that's what we have. I'm pleased to announce that Commission Junction now has a solution where we can actually leverage consumer data in the affiliate marketing channel. In collaboration with our CRM solutions group and our media team, we now have access to 200 million consumer anonymous profiles that we can now leverage against the affiliate marketing channel. And when we talk about these consumer profiles, we're not just talking about the last product the consumer looked at or bought, but we can actually infer certain attributes about that consumer based on our overall retailer network. Are they a new customer for a particular advertiser or an existing? Are they a luxury buyer or are they a value buyer? Are they into eco-friendly products and yoga, or are they more outdoors and they like to grill? These are just some examples of some of the attributes that we can now leverage within this channel. So we're very excited about this initiative, and if we look at an example, Here we have a male consumer, again, anonymous, but based on the profile within our retailer network, we know that he operates in a sales capacity. He travels quite a bit, definitely an outdoorsman, so he does a lot of outdoor activities, therefore fairly rugged in nature. So by leveraging this profile in the affiliate marketing channel, it looks something like this. So this particular male consumer is actually in the market for a computer. He goes to one of our publisher sites, he does an advertiser lookup, and we actually recognize him as an existing consumer. And this is important because we can now personalize the promotion. And as an existing consumer, we know there's a certain element of loyalty. So we really want to focus on increasing the basket size. So in this case, we actually show him an offer that's tailored to him to do just that, which is 20% off a purchase of $500 or more. Again, we also know that he works in a travel capacity, rugged guy, therefore needs a rugged laptop. So that's the product that we show him. Personalized promotion, personalized creative, tailored to that particular consumer. If we look at another example, we have a female consumer, also in the market for a computer. She's hip, lives in the city, very graphics, creative in nature. Therefore, when she goes to a publisher site, does an advertiser lookup, although she's new to that particular advertiser, we recognize her within the retailer network and therefore can leverage those attributes. But as a new consumer, we want to be a bit more aggressive in our promotion to ensure that she converts. So in this case, we actually show her 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. And again, knowing that she is of a creative nature, works in a graphics type of position, we're going to show her a more robust all-in-one machine to be able to support those capabilities. We're calling this affiliate personalization. We're really excited about this initiative because we feel this is a game changer for our industry, to really bring in the best of breed in terms of integrating this solution into our publisher sites and leveraging the consumer profile. It allows marketers for the first time to have relevancy to ensure that whatever message that they want to push out is also integrated with the affiliate channel. And we know for publishers as well that greater relevancy equals greater conversions. So we're currently testing with several advertisers. If all continues to go well, as we expect it to, we will be rolling this out across the rest of the network towards the tail end of this year and going into 2014. So innovation. So the second I that I wanted to talk to you about in terms of investing in relationships here at Commission Junction is one of insights. But before I do, I have to share a challenge that I'm currently having. And I'm not sure how many of you suffer from a similar problem at home. My 10-year-old daughter thinks that she can sing. Now, I'm no judge. For those that have heard my karaoke rendition of Jessie's Girl by Rick Springfield, know that I cannot sing. But I will tell you, it's not good. So, and you know, people that think that they can sing, they do it all the time. And young people that think that they can sing, they like to record themselves singing. And it's not like when you and I were growing up and we had the one recording device, remember this? It was like the brick of the recorder with the tethered mic. You'd play it back, it was so warbled you couldn't even make out one word anyways. Oh no, now we have smartphones and tablets and of course computers, and then we have distribution vehicles for all the world to see. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and the like. So I'm constantly hearing in my household, "Mom, listen to this. Isn't it good?" And I make the face. Any of you parents, you know the face. I love you. Oh, what do you know? Well, I will tell you, there is no singing talent in our family. And not only is there no singing talent in the immediate family, I have looked on both sides of the family, going back generations, and there is no singing talent to be found. But what do I know? So this past summer, we enrolled Peyton in summer camp. And they immediately announced at this theater camp that they were doing a musical. So my my hopes of her securing the lead were quickly dashed, to say the least. But there was actually a really great silver lining, and that was for the first time in Peyton's young life, she saw girls her exact same age that could sing. She had a way to measure her performance. So you know where the story is going. So let's just say that Mom, listen to this, has absolutely now died down in our household. But with that said, I will no doubt be investing in some voice lessons before the next summer rolls around. But benchmarks, they're important. And one of the biggest benefits of working with a network is that we have a lot of benchmarks. With 3,000 advertisers and 60,000 active publishers, we have a lot of data. And as we move towards one value click, we now have insights and more access to more data than ever before, which is what I get really excited about. Because we know even when you're looking and measuring the affiliate channel, it's important to look at that channel within the overall marketing mix, as well as from the consumer viewpoint in all of their different touch points. So I talked about having access to the consumer profile. We also now have insights and access to other online marketing channels as well to be able to answer the questions of our advertisers. So when we talk about data and insights and benchmarks, we really look at it three different ways. Data collection and what we're doing around that particular focus area, as well as data analysis, and of course, dissemination of that data, or in essence, sharing that data with all of you. So I wanted to talk about each of these different areas and what we're doing. As it relates to data collection, we recently conducted a consumer survey about the impact of coupons on the overall consumer purchase journey. I know there's been other studies that have been done, third-party research, but we really wanted to see the data for ourselves. And we actually had 1,000 valid responses over a 3-week period. It was overwhelming. And although we're still packaging up the results, I wanted to give you a quick sneak peek in one of the more interesting stats, and that is 60% of the people said when they go to a retailer site, leave that retailer site to seek out a coupon, oftentimes they complete that purchase at a different retailer site. 60%. So that notion of, I would have gotten the sale anyways, is somewhat disrupted with this statistic. And when we were doing some additional analysis for a particular advertiser, we actually saw this stat somewhat supported. So in speaking about some of the access that we have to other online marketing channels, this advertiser actually was very interested in those consumers that not only left the cart, but came back to the cart. What channel did they come back from? And what was the average order value as well as conversion rate within a 1 hour, 1 day, and 1 week and 1 month time period? So 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week, and 1 month time period. And so we could actually see the return path by channel. So we're not just talking about affiliate, which we broke down into coupon, loyalty, content, and shopping mall, but we could also see search, email, display, social, mobile. And of course, my eyes immediately beelined to the coupon data. So if I'm a consumer, I left the cart, came back to the cart from a coupon site within a 1 hour, I know many of you are thinking, oh, the conversion rate was probably off the charts because we would have had that sale anyways. It wasn't. Not only was it not greater than 50%, it wasn't even greater than 5%. It was less than 1% higher than any other channel. But the average order value was 11% higher than any other channel. So again, disrupts the myth. So I share this message because we have a lot of data. And I want to also state that I know the word attribution often comes up in many of these conversations. And many of you are having these discussions both internally as well as externally. I can't get into this very contentious topic today. I will tell you one thing. In all the attribution vendors that we have spoken to, directly and indirectly, they do not understand affiliate. They know display, but they do not know affiliate. So they oftentimes will equate the impression equally with the click. We know that is not the case. So I know there's a lot of data and there's a lot of questions. So please invite a CJ team member to the table as part of these conversations to make sure that you have the most robust data set before you make any big decisions. I've worked with several who have made a decision that has not only negatively impacted their affiliate channel, but their overall business. Do not make the same mistake. So last but not least, there's data dissemination. How we're sharing all of this data with all of you, not just on a one-to-one basis between advertisers, publishers, and agencies, but network-wide. Hopefully, most of you are familiar with our benchmark report as well as our seasonality report. Our latest and greatest benchmark report actually just came out yesterday. It's posted on our blog, so please check it out. But we actually do a summary of 11 different categories within the CJ marketplace. So we looked at media and entertainment, look at finance, business. We break down retail in about 5 different categories. And we also look at 5 critical KPIs within the marketplace so you can measure your performance as marketers. So we look at conversion rate, return on ad spend, so on and so forth. So check out the benchmark report, and then, of course, the seasonality report, where, again, we highlight the most active days around certain holidays within the network so you can make sure as both advertisers and publishers, all of your offers are teed up. We now have 30-plus analysts within the ValueClick organization. So you're going to see more and more of this data. You're going to see a lot of this data come to you over the coming months. So we're really excited to share it because, again, we believe that the network, this is one of the biggest benefits, is to have this data. How do you know how well you're doing without it? So insights, very important in terms of measuring the performance of all these great relationships that we have made over the years. All right, so last but not least, the last and final I that I wanted to review with you, and that is international. One big global relationship. So not sure how many of you have heard, but as of January of this year, I am now responsible for CJ Global. So this is the first time in my 14-year tenure here that I've had this responsibility. And although it's new to me, we've been international for 10 plus years. So we currently have offices in London and Munich and Paris, Stockholm, Sweden, as well as Madrid, Spain. And I'm also pleased to announce that as teased last year, we now also have an office in Shanghai, China. So we now have an Asian footprint in which to best support our advertisers, publishers, and agencies. So very excited about that presence. So for the first 6 months of this year, I did quite a bit of traveling, to say the least, and of course found myself walking down the streets of Paris in March, and of course oohing and awing at all the amazing men and women and their fashion and walking down the streets. And I just thought to myself, thank goodness my own fashion sense has evolved, because if I still look like this, I'm not sure how much receptivity I not only would have gotten from our French office, but the country in general. I'm not sure what my mom and I were thinking at this point in time. You know, the big, bold, floral print. I don't know if we were trying to match the wreath behind us. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. What really is disturbing to me is that usually when you see mother and daughters dressing alike, the daughter's typically like 8, not 22. So I'm pleased to state that my mother, who is also in the audience, as her fashion sense has also evolved. Although I will say that I will say that her dress looks eerily similar to my own. I'm just saying. Just saying. So I digress. But international is really important to Commission Junction and to, I know, many of our clients. But I also know that many of you are thinking, oh, we're not an international brand, we don't have multiple locations, therefore I'm not even interested in this conversation. But when we look at the CJ marketplace, we found that 90% of our advertisers have traffic outside their country of origin. So you may be more international than you think. We also know from a network perspective that we reach consumers in about 150 different countries. So I state this because there is a lot that we can do together without you having an international brand or location that we can manage from your country of origin, whether that's the US or otherwise, to be able to really maximize and leverage that traffic. We also all know that affiliate marketing has always been a great test channel, and international is really no different. It's a great way to see where you're getting traction around the world and where you're not. We actually had one particular publisher that was seeing a lot of traffic coming from South Korea. So they actually used that information to set up a shop in South Korea. So again, there's a lot of things that we can do together in terms of maximizing this traffic from your home base. For those that do have an international brand or location, we've definitely made some changes to our services structure over the last couple months. We have always had, from the very beginning, one global technology platform. So no matter where you are in the world working with Commission Junction, you're working with a platform that you know and hopefully love. And we want to do the same thing with our services team, support, and people. So we wanted to make sure that we were aligned with any of you that have international brands. So if you're a US marketing team responsible for international, we will ensure our US account team is also responsible for international and will manage the in-country resources appropriately. So no matter how big or small you are, we will manage and service you accordingly, and the same. For those that have more of a decentralized approach in which your in-country resources are responsible for the budget, we too will assign our in-country resources to work with you in order to meet your goals. So we call this our new global account management structure. So all working together. And again, I know some brands, they go over to Europe and like, oh, we're big in the US, we're going to be big in Europe. They end up being about this big, they work with the competitor, and they don't get any service. So we look at you from an enterprise relationship and want to ensure that you work with the CJ team that you know and love. So international, definitely a big growth area for Commission Junction and ValueClick, and I know for many of you, I've seen a lot of acquisitions happen in Europe and Asia over the last year or so, and I know many more will come, and please know that we're here to support your expansion efforts. Now having a template for success, we also are looking to expand our efforts. So we always appreciate any input and feedback you have in terms of where you're expanding next. So the 3 I's. We talked about innovation, insights, and international. And our investments in relationships, we are continually committed to. And ValueClick overall, we're committed to making those connections with advertisers, publishers, agencies, as well as, of course, consumers. So going back to the Andy Murray and Ivan Lendl story, one more interesting note about Ivan Lendl is that when he finally won his first Grand Slam final, he went on to win 7 more. So Andy has now won 2. So one could argue that he is just at the beginning of his next chapter, just at the beginning of taking his game to the next level. That's how we at Commission Junction feel in working with all of you. We're just at the beginning of taking this channel to the next level in working with all of you. So please take the next day and a half to focus on taking your own affiliate marketing efforts to the next level. Thank you.